Hello, everyone. We are back and doing the things,
So many things.
so many things. What
I'm
sort of
excited.
things are you doing, Jenna?
I feel very excited this week. This
Yeah,
is a really good week.
it is a
I
good
don't
week.
know, like on all levels, on all realms of the identity, I just feel very grounded and very
Oh,
excited
really?
about life, which
Oh,
is
it's great.
which is cool, you know?
Yeah,
Love when this
that is a
happens.
place you like to be.
Yes, yes. Um, so one thing that I'm very excited about is
Yes.
the creation of the map of you, which
Oh,
is going to be released with the woods in some time. We
yeah,
will let you know when it's fully ready. But
absolutely.
just working on this product and this resource, it's so crazy. I feel as though I'm just channeling this
Mm-hmm.
information and this
Hmm.
resource for the world. And so, because of that, because I am not attached to it from the ego perspective of it being like mine or my wisdom, I mean, some of it I'm integrating from the human world
Sure.
and what I've learned,
Yeah.
but it's serving me while I'm
Yeah.
doing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, I like add something to it. And I'm like, holy crap, that can help me right now. So
Right.
it's just exciting. It's like a
Oh,
trippy, oh my gosh, I'm hoping to create this and share it with the
yeah.
world, but also I'm benefiting from it because I
Mm.
too am just human and learning.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and I'm right there too. I'm like, this is so good. Like, oh my gosh. I just
We're
want
just
to be
like
in it.
two little happy channels
Yes.
right now.
It does. It feels so good. And it also is just like it'll be so nice when it's out there,
Yeah.
right? Like it just feels right.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
It feels so right. So what's new with you? I mean, you're in it with me, but is there anything
Yes.
new? How's your week? How are you doing?
Yep. Things are good. It's a little toasty in the Northwest, more so than normal. I know it's way toastier in other places, but living that no AC life is,
Just imagining like you're not doing this.
oh
Like
no,
your
but
face
am
is
I?
just dripping sweat as we're talking now.
I know. No, I have a fan right at me
Fully prepared.
where it's in the morning. So it's not, I did have a client call at 2 p.m. yesterday. And I was just like, I'm so hope she doesn't know how, like my cheeks were just like
Red.
tomato red. Oh my gosh. I almost said something. I was like, no, no, don't like
It's not
whatever.
about me.
Yeah, right. Like, okay, not the point here. But afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Whew, I'm a little toasty right now, but that's okay. I'm
That's
going to
crazy.
AC this afternoon. So all
Yeah.
all is well. It's all good. Just one
Yeah.
of those things.
Oh,
I know.
well, I feel like I'm really excited also about today's conversation.
Me too. We
I don't know
weren't quite
why
sure.
this, like, why did this one take so long? I feel like we looked at our list and was like, well, dang, this is a
Yes.
fun one.
It is a fun one and like a real I don't like foundation, right? Like it's
Hmm.
a important aspect to like kind
Hmm.
of tap into
Hmm.
as well.
Okay, so today, guys, we are going to talk about the practice of play
Yes.
and how important it is for just your overall health,
Yeah.
success, abundance in this life.
Yeah.
And I think before we dive into like how we experience play
Sure.
and what is play for us individually, or maybe for the energy types and all those fun things,
Hmm.
I feel like we need to ground into just to the fact that we are all spirit in a human suit.
Yep.
And so when you think of it that way, we all have this life force, this energy frequency within us
Mm.
that wanted to be here, that was
Yep.
birthed into this world. And we didn't come here to be boring. We weren't like, sign me up to sit at that desk and pay my bills and bitch about life.
Yeah.
Like, there's
No.
absolutely no way
Mm-mm.
that fun and play wasn't meant to be a very, like you said, core part of this human experience.
Yes.
And I think there's even more evidence for that truth in the fact that when we're children, it's so easy to play. It's so easy to be in our imagination and in our bodies and interacting with others in the world in this playful way or nature. And
Yeah.
that's because we're so much closer to source or the frequency
Hmm.
that came here to experience life.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like,
Yes.
foundational, no matter who you are, what energy type you are, like, before we get into the
Hmm.
weeds of our
Yep.
differences and the ways that we might incorporate more fun into our lives, like, it's just a fact that we're supposed to have fun.
Yes. Every
The
day.
end. Have
Every
a good
day.
day. Bye.
All the
No.
time. Right?
Yes.
Yes. Like
Um,
we get this human experience, and that
mhm.
comes with a lot of pleasures, a lot of sensations, right? Like there's like a real depth to being a human versus being an ant. Right? Like, like if you just
Yes.
think about that for like living creatures, like
Yeah. You're not an
there
ant.
we are not an ant.
You're not an
No,
ant.
not an ant.
You're
And
not
even
an
if
ant.
you were, I'm sure ants
Good
have fun
play.
from time
Yeah,
to
they have
time.
fun.
Yeah.
We have any ants listening?
Right.
We love you. Um,
Oh man,
yeah.
so
So
funny.
like foundation,
Yeah.
you're here to play. Now, I thought it would be cool though. Like, what's the opposite of play? Because I
Mm,
think right now we have like just adults, not we, just adults.
sure.
Clearly, we have to some degree like a disassociation or disconnection from this concept of play and fun.
Oh yes.
And obviously, that comes with responsibilities and the things, like I said, needing to pay the bills and all
Yeah.
of that humdrum of being human.
Yeah.
But what is the opposite of play? Like, where are we living if we're not in play? Why isn't that our natural state? What do you think it
Okay,
is?
well, those are like loaded. There are multiple questions going on there.
I
But I
cannot
would
filter my
first,
questions.
right? I would first say like the opposite of play to me is disconnected, like
Mm,
disassociated, like
stress.
checking out.
I think
Yeah,
stress. I don't know
I can
why.
see that too.
It could be my incarnation cross. The shadow of my sun sign is stress.
It is. It is.
Little HD deep
Yes.
dive there that we're not going to go into.
Right. Not today. Not today.
But yeah,
Yes.
so what are we stressed out about?
All the stories, all the things that we put weight on that
Mhm.
you don't need to.
Yeah, like it's almost like uh, if it, like as children, we were able to play so easily and lean into this fun and this organic, just like natural way of being.
Yeah.
It was like we were in our sweet spot when we were children.
Sure.
Like we were in that sweet spot between being spirit and human. And now we're just like so fucking human.
Yes. Yes. In the rat
I
race.
do feel like that foundational statement that we made is kind of like the, oh, wake up, like you're not just human.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of like the little pinhole that you can like see through and be like, oh wait, back to fun, take me back to play. Like what
Right.
am I not enjoying about my life right now, and
Yes.
how can I integrate more joy into it?
Yeah. Because everyone's deserving of it too. I think that is
Mm-hmm.
definitely conditioning that can be pretty strong in adulthood, that like your worthiness for play and fun. Like it's not a leisure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, these type of people get to play. Like, dang it. No, every human being gets to play.
Yeah. And I'm hearing like that belief of, well, there's something better I could be doing,
Sure.
or
Oh,
there's something more
yeah.
important that needs my attention.
Right. Right.
And it's like, is it though? Like, is there really something more important than being happy and playful?
Right.
I don't know. I disagree.
Right. Because, like, in my lens, it's like that is just going to elevate whatever responsibilities you do have.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if you are paying the bills, okay, well, put some music on and pay the bills, right?
Oh,
Like,
you meant like literally the act
yeah,
of paying the bills. I'm like,
I did. I did.
what? I thought you meant like,
I'm going with
even if
the
you do
example
pay your bills.
when you do, or you're doing the dishes, or, like
Yeah.
all these things, like inject some fun.
It sounds too like, not to repeat ourselves, but I'm hearing a lot of similarities with our raw joy
Yes.
discussion that we
Yes.
had like months ago.
Yep.
Um, but I think joy is like a sensation and a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
or a way of
Mm-hmm.
being.
Yes.
Like I am joyful,
Yeah.
and play is like a vehicle to that.
I love that.
Does
Yes.
that land? Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the vehicle? What vehicles are you riding on every day? Are you just like bitching with your friends about how stressful work is? Like,
Yeah.
that's not a fun like, I'm hopping off that party train because it's not
Right.
even a party train.
That's not,
Like, where
nope.
is your party train?
Yes. Where did it go?
And what do
Where
you
do
do
you
on
go?
that party train and who's there? And like,
Yes.
why the F aren't you hopping on it more? To
Yes.
Joy,
It's
to
waiting
Joy
for
Town.
you. To Joy Town. Yes, please. I want to
Oh
go to
my,
Joy Town.
oh my God. So how do you experience play?
I would say in quite a few different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one, being out in nature, there's always some level of play. I feel like just kind of naturally for myself. Um, and then if I'm doing it by myself, like out in nature by myself, that's going to be like walking, listening to podcast, like all those things. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like I'm moving my body. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
nature. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Like, ooh, so rejuvenating. But like play, it's kind of funny because I do feel like I associate play more with others. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Okay, line 4.
I know my network when I get to be with my network, like that seems very playful.
What's it? And that's interesting. Oh my goodness. Unintended human design connections here. I think I like playing alone.
Do you? Well, and
Like
with your
that
like
projector
creative.
and that projector, like one-on-one or just like more like intimate, simple play, I
Mm,
feel like I land with better.
yep.
Like if you, like, yes, I go out to dinner with friends and, that can be a form of play.
Yeah.
Fun, but that's like not usually my first choice.
Sure. Sure.
To
Sure.
activate that like joy and pure sensation of play within myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the vehicle for me.
Yes. Yes. Does like I lean more to like physical movement,
Mm-hmm.
kind of how I'm like seeing these things. How does that the vehicle for you? What does that look like?
It's more imagination.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, and I do, I mean, it is physical because I mean, now that we are back at the Rent's house,
Yeah. Yeah.
hanging out, we've been going on walks in the
Yeah.
countryside and it's been so beautiful. And I
Mm,
do feel very, like, I feel connected to my inner child. I mean, there's many reasons I feel connected to my inner child living in my childhood home, but
yes.
like moving my
Mm,
body out in nature, like you were saying, it
yeah.
does feel like I feel very connected to myself. And yes, it is a vehicle, but I think my go-to more so of if Jess, if you were to say like, Jenna, do you want to come over and play? I'd be like, okay, let me get my card decks. I'll bring all of my art supplies.
Yes.
Like it's very much this creative,
Yes.
imaginatory like expression that I
Yep.
like to be in where I get like not high, but high off of it.
Right. Right.
I
And for
get my
me, it would
buzz.
it would be more like, ooh, bring a board game or like let's
Oh, yeah.
dance or like
I like
it
dancing.
yeah, it's like more that. Or
Yeah.
like go see some comedy or like
Yeah. Okay. And
that
so
sort of
this is
thing.
funny. And is that what you did as a child? More so?
I mean, oh, man, as a child, like we had great backyards. So it would just be like go run
I
around.
love a great backyard.
It
It's
was just
funny
a
how you said that,
great,
but like, dang, I know exactly what you mean. Just a
yes.
solid,
Yep.
solid yard.
Had space, had things to do. So
Mhm.
yeah, but I will say as a kid I did color a lot. I did always really
You
enjoy
mentioned that.
a little craft, a little coloring, like and that was very
Little
by
something, something.
myself. Yeah.
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 Well, generators need rest too.
Yeah.
Listen to our myth busting episode on generator myths. You
Yes.
deserve rest too. That was your moment of like, okay.
Right. Oh, that's
Mine was
nice.
like, I would prefer the majority to just be like in my room.
Mm.
I don't
No.
know, designing outfits or
Ah, sure,
just
sure.
all the things. I mean, I was a
Yes.
business owner when I was 6. Like
I love it.
just trying all the identities, seeing what
Yes.
landed.
Oh,
And it lands because I do the same freaking thing
sure.
as an adult when I
Yes.
consider myself in that playful energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I also do like straight up just love like playing with my nephews. Like the kid,
Mm-hmm.
like literally tapping into a kid's energy, which now they're almost teenagers, so that is shifting. But literally being like, you know, it's just so fun. It's like so fun to be like, yeah, let's play this
Mm-hmm.
pickleball, but then it turns into like who knows what. You got to do 20 different things because,
Yeah.
you know, things are being made up. I'm like, that's so fun. Like
That's so
I want to
cool.
do that.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think this conversation also stemmed from like me thinking about conversations or things I've helped my clients with. And
Yeah.
a theme in a few clients was that like they really don't understand or know how to have fun or
Yeah.
be in play, I should say. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
think of fun as like going out for drinks or, a
Sure.
family barbecue, cookout. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fun, but is that truly you connected to this vehicle or this action of play? Not
Right.
really, not as
Right.
much, you're
Yep.
not as close to it.
Yeah.
And so I remember a client saying that she, even like when her kids were like, Mom, come play, she was like, all right, I'm going to really try this. Like, I'm going to really experiment, like being there with them. And she said, like, it felt awkward at first. Like, it truly felt
Um,
awkward to kind of let go.
yep.
And she really emphasized that experience of like letting go and not
Mhm.
needing to know what are the rules of the game or what
Yes.
is the outcome? Like, how long are we going to be playing? Like, when do we
Right.
stop? Like, really needing to know this like structure
Yep.
or needing the structure around this concept of play. But she said, like, as she, she was self aware and kind of in the experiment. And she said, once she was able to get past that resistance of letting go, it was like she was six again.
Oh.
Like we don't, it's like riding a bike. Playing
Oh,
is like riding a
absolutely.
bike. First time
Absolutely.
you get back on it, it's a little bit like, what the hell?
Yes.
What am I
Yes. Yes.
doing? What is
Yes.
this?
Yes. Ugh, and how like lovely for her kids to see her in
Mm-hmm.
that energy. Like that just seems
Mm-hmm.
so wonderful for everyone.
Mm-hmm. But I get it. Like I get her
Yeah.
resistance. Like I know you mentioned you love being there in that
Mhm.
space, but
Mhm.
as I'm sure a mom of multiple kids, owning a
Yes.
business and being very much in other elements of life. I don't
Yes.
know. No, it's not even other elements of life, just having more responsibility.
Yes.
Like I can see it being scary, like letting go. That, like
Yeah.
we said, shouldn't there be something else? Is there something else I should be doing with my time and
Yep.
energy?
Yep. Well, especially like for moms, if they have like their mom identity more as like the scheduler, the meals, the like whatever that list is, I
Mm-hmm.
doubt it's like the fun mom, the
Mm-hmm.
play mom. Like, is
Or
that,
dad. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, is that a part of it? And like, I
Mhm.
also understand like if it hasn't been, right? Like
Yeah.
there can be so much pressure
Yeah. Which
to,
is why we said at the identity level, like,
yeah,
remember that you are a spirit in a human suit
right.
and you can and should play as much as your child plays. Like, really, what's the
Yes.
difference?
Right.
Like, and this is something that we're going to get into in the map of you,
Yes.
but I'm going to speak
Yes.
to Jess about it right now. Like, time doesn't exist.
Right.
Even though your child is younger than you with less responsibilities, they're
Right.
not separate or different or at a different, like they don't, play isn't exclusive to them. They
Right.
don't
Nope.
own play. And it's not
Nope.
like you lose access to play as you get older. That's
Right.
very linear, right to left thinking.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
can play at any moment that you want.
Yes. Yes. And
And,
mhm.
oh,
Go ahead.
we do this once a episode.
We
I love
do.
listening to it back because we're like so cute. We're like, no, you go. No, you go. And I always comment on it. Okay, awkward. Um, we were
Oh,
talking too before this about how much, this identity of, well, I have things to do or I'm working or I have to pay the bills, whatever like narrative or story is running through your head, maybe as you're listening to this, or when your kids do ask you to play,
yeah.
or when you are invited to go do something that might be fun, like play and fun is a vehicle to success. Like
Yes.
it's going to add to your experience of whatever you think is distracting you from experiencing play in your day to day. And I
Yes.
kind of want to dive into that a little bit more. I think you have a good example for it.
Totally. Yeah, and well, and what is coming to mind first for that too is like even if we just like pull back for a second and think from like an energetic frequency perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if you just go from like, okay, we'll just continue with this mom example, but literally this is for whatever situation someone's in.
Use your brains.
Yeah, we're just rolling with it. But okay, mom is currently folding laundry. There's that vibration of that task at hand, right?
Yeah.
Child
Hate that
comes,
vibration.
"Hey mom, will you come outside and like play with me?" Okay. Goes out and plays. Okay, that vibration and energy automatically shifts. So then
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking, okay, now they have a different set point, and everything else you're walking into for the rest of the day, the rest of the evening, you're coming at it with a higher vibration.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
alone, this is a big vehicle for that shift of like your current day to day
Frequency.
checking out, doing the tasks
Mm-hmm.
versus exploring that play, allowing that imagination and that movement. That's going to trickle into everything else you're doing.
Yeah, you're gonna go back to the laundry and be like booty shaken
Yeah.
and talking to yourself and like loving life.
Yes. And
I mean,
maybe
this
your kid
happened.
wants to help you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That happened with me even in the woods yesterday, working on the
Mm-hmm.
map of you here in this office.
Yep.
I was here, I don't even know how long, like way longer than my projector self usually likes to be here.
Yeah.
But I was on a projector high.
Yeah.
My pulse was on. I was focused. My 52 was locked into something.
Yes.
Like I was just very locked in.
Yeah.
But I started to feel myself like dipping in the afternoon. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my headphones in and I'm
Mm.
going to listen to some booty shaking music. And I was, thank God, I finally have this curtain up now. I was in here dancing my little butt off. Like
Yes.
a little weirdo. I'm like, is there a camera hidden somewhere? I hope not, because I had a freaking dance party and I was using my headphones. So if anybody did see me, they would not hear the beat
Right.
that I was keeping up with.
Yep. Yep.
But then I came back to work and I was like, oh my God, it's like a
Yes.
whole new day. It's like the day
Yes.
begins again, which is also like a midday shower. Like think about when you take a shower midday.
Oh,
To
yes.
me, it's like I have a day and then when I go shower and then I'm like, oh my God, another day.
Yes.
Another day in this day.
Yes. I actually love when I shower like 3 or 4, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna make dinner. Like it
Yeah.
is. It's very nice.
It's that frequency shift. Like
It
you're
is.
changing the energy
Yes.
and the tone. And also, we spoke earlier about how, like, the opposite of play and fun is maybe disassociation or disconnection, like doing the laundry
Yeah.
without being present and really truly experiencing it.
Yeah.
And that in another frame of mind is like shutting off or like no longer communicating. Like you may
Yeah.
not be like putting out bad juju or vibes while you're doing the
Sure.
laundry, but you're just like
Yes.
shut down. You're in disassociation. And when
Yes.
you shut down, the universe shuts down. Or when you check
Yes.
out, the universe checks out. When you stop communicating, the universe can't communicate to you. You're
Mm-mm.
mute.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I know we're using like the laundry and
Sure.
little day-to-day work tasks, but like thinking about, let's say you have a business goal.
Hmm.
If you are just focused on that goal and doing the quote unquote work or steps that are
Yeah.
meant to get you to that goal strategically or whatever those like just they almost don't have a frequency, right? Like you're just
Uh-huh.
taking the steps. You add the frequency to it.
Yeah.
If you can bring a playful frequency to that, the
Yes.
universe is going to get playful back with you.
Yep.
And you mentioned this example before we jumped on that's why a lot of times, like you see on social media, someone goes on vacation and they sell out their program or,
Yep.
they get all these sales or notifications. And it's like, what? I'm not even working.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, you're adding the
Yes.
flavor or the frequency or energy that is actually communicating to the universe.
Yep.
Hey, I want to live a playful life. I want to live a relaxed life.
Yes. Yes. And then that's attracting other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like other people like, "Ugh, I want in. Like I want some
Yeah.
of that."
Yeah. And it's not even just, I would say, business related either.
Sure. No.
I shared that like before Nick and I had gone on vacation last year, I was not feeling great. I was super sick.
Mm-hmm.
This was before I realized all of my allergies. So there is some biological, like chemical things
Chemical.
that
Yeah.
can speak to this. But I was so sick and I was like, I don't even know if we
Yeah.
should go on vacation.
Mm.
And we got there, went to Asheville, and I was perfectly fine. Like
Yeah.
literally ate everything that I wanted to, had drinks, went on like 7-mile hikes. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's got to be the place. It's got to be the place. Like I
Yeah.
should move here. But
Yeah.
it was just the shift in energy. I stopped focusing on stress and I like woke back up in my body
Yep.
and I played.
Yep. And that was a very like creative environment, right?
Yes.
Like
Oh my
there was a lot of
God. So true.
imagination
Yeah,
and
I was in
yes,
my element of
yes,
play. Because
yes,
it's not
yes.
that I wasn't playing here or seeing people
Sure.
and hanging out.
Right.
In fact, I remember hanging out with people and feeling sick,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I got back into my vehicle or version of play.
Yes. In a very new way. Right. Like
Mm,
that's just inspiration no matter what. Like
yeah.
there are literally new things you are taking in
Yeah.
a new environment.
Mm,
Absolutely.
so cool. Okay,
Yes.
so do we want to talk about like play in the sense of energy types? I don't know if we have more to maybe share or add
Sure.
there.
I
I
think
think we
so.
Yeah, and I think we spoke to maybe our differences as like a
Yep.
generator and projector or sacral and non-sacral. I very much like to, get one-on-one with something, whether it's one
Sure.
other person. Like when I have my girlfriends over, I usually have one person over at a time and
Yeah.
we go deep and talk about everything, like very close knit and
Yeah.
juicy.
Yes. Yes.
So I
Yes.
like that one-on-one interaction or
Yeah.
one-on-one interaction with a subject or a project or a podcast or a painting where I will just spend all my time focused on it.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite version of play.
Yeah. Like that creative outlet is a
Hmm.
huge, huge driver for that for
And
you.
like it's kind of with the projector energy, being able to dive deep into maybe not a system, but
Mhm.
a style of play.
Yeah. I love that.
I want to be deep in it.
Yes. And for projectors, thinking about that signature of being success, a lot of times, and also having your strategy of waiting for the invitation and recognition, this can be a real sticking point for projectors of like, how do I make sense of this? What do I do? Which one? You're a projector, you're not here to do, but I get what you're saying. But one thing I always come back to is like, where is the fun? Like, where is the
Mhm.
passion? Like, where is that creativity? Where are those outlets? Because the more you're in that energy, that frequency, like with the thing you're wanting to be involved with and to do and to explore, like that becomes so much more attractive for those invitations to make their way to you. That I just don't think people really like honor that for projectors.
Mhm. Yeah, I have no idea why this image just came to mind as you were talking about it, but like building like a snowman,
Oh, okay.
like starting with a snowball, like what's the
Yeah.
one thing that brings you joy? And
Yeah.
then like you just start rolling it in the snow and you're like, "Oh my God, this is so fun." And like you're not even paying attention, then all of a sudden you have a whole entire bottom half of a snowman and you're like,
Right.
"Sweet." And then you find something else that you enjoy and you start rolling
Yeah.
that snow like and you just kind of get lost in the joy, which building a snowman is actually play.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fun.
So projectors, like I just encourage you not to shy away from
Mhm.
this idea of play and that it can really unlock that sense of success in
Yeah.
whatever areas you're looking for.
Hmm. But I
Absolutely.
would say the same to you
Sure.
and the quote unquote doers, the
Yeah.
sacral beings who
Yeah.
feel like they have to produce
Hmm.
an outcome, which when I was speaking about that client earlier, she was an MG.
Yeah.
So I do feel like she had this sense or this belief of like, well, what's the outcome? Like,
Yes.
what can I show for this experience? Or what am I delivering at the end of this? Like, give me a
Sure.
job to do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let me see the outcome.
Yeah.
Um, but you don't have to have an outcome. Like, you don't have to be doing something. Your doing can be like free spirited.
Yeah. You're having fun.
Yeah.
You're playing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I said before, like as a sacral being, it is that movement piece I really connect with
Hmm.
play. Um, that it's just nice. It always feels good in my body playing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is that, would you say, for both generators and MGs that are listening?
I
Any
I think
differentiators there,
so.
tips?
I mean, I th- I think it is. I think it's similar for both having that defined sacral because the key for us is, really utilizing that sacral energy every day, like
Hmm.
using it up. And I think as adults, it's just this whole notion of play, like we've been talking about, it's non existent for a lot of
Mhm.
people. And that can be, a certain percentage of your energy that you literally are not using up as a sacral being. So to be able to tap into that, you'll probably sleep better. You'll have more creativity, more clarity. Like,
You also bring like diversity into your day to day as an
yeah.
MG, which you
Ooh,
guys love. Like you
absolutely.
don't have to always be having, you don't need 7 businesses. Like
Right.
you can
Sure.
do whatever you want, but you could also have 5 businesses and
Mhm.
replace that other time with just like straight up playing
Yes. Yep.
and
Trying new
being in that
things.
fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What about manifestors
What
and
about
reflectors?
manifestors? I mean,
How
I
does
think of
David play? Golf.
golf. Golf and music. He really enjoys
Okay.
music. Um, but I could also see with manifestors being that kind of, not having a defined sacral, that creative surge piece. I feel like play can really come out when that creative surge
Mhm.
is online and hitting them. Like I'm thinking of Victoria Washington on Instagram. She's a manifester. And man, it is like so cool to just see her creations, like very creative, but very like here or not here, like
Mhm.
on or offline.
Yeah. And I'm thinking too, we think in the human design community that Adele and Taylor Swift are manifestors. And they're
Okay.
both, they surge and create a whole beautiful album. And then, like, you're like, where are they? Where'd they
Yep.
go?
Yep.
And so, but when you listen to their album and you like see them in the creation process, or you just experience any part of like their creation, it is so playful, like, and it activates that play in you.
Yes.
So yes, like that's an example of those surges can just be so like, I mean, Folklore by Taylor is like literally my fairy tale in the woods,
Hmm.
like background music.
Oh, I love it. I love
So
it.
playful.
Yeah. So like like be unique, like be you, I think is
Mm-hmm.
one thing to really kind of push that envelope of play. Because it probably, I don't know, you probably want to do something a little differently than everyone else is
Mm-hmm.
doing it. And that's
Yeah.
great. Like allow that to flow.
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
that. I like
Mhm.
that. And for reflectors, what
Yes.
comes to mind for play?
I can just see them doing a little bit of everything depending on what environment they're in.
Yeah, I was gonna say like paying attention to a playful surrounding,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
going and being around people maybe who are already in that energy of play,
Hmm.
having to kind of initiate it or choose it even yourself,
Yeah.
but just going towards the communities, the environments, the people that are in that playful frequency if you want to activate that within
Yep.
yourself and experience it.
Yes. 100% agree with that. I think
Mm,
that is perfect for a reflector.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And how are we incorporating play into the woods?
Ooh.
I mean, I booty shook yesterday in the office privately. That was very playful.
Yes.
Um, I also think sharing
Hmm.
this experience with everyone is very
Yes.
playful. Like
Yes.
there are traditional launch plans and launch strategies that we are aware of and that we've seen other people experience, but
Hmm.
we said like, "Hey, wait, how would this actually be fun? What would it
Yeah.
look like if it was actually fun?"
Yes.
And immediately we were like, "Oh my God, we'll just tell people about it while we're building it." Like
Yes.
literally give them the inside behind the scenes scoop
Yes.
of what it's like to build a new world or reality.
Yeah.
And that's been so fun. Like I'm
So
excited to
fun.
come on here and talk about it and give updates and share the experience on Instagram.
Yes. And like you and I keep it very fun for each other as well. Like we're
Mhm.
on Voxer all the time, like, oh, la, 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 and like sharing this, or I saw that. And like that just keeps that energy
Mhm.
very playful and creative.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel like I'm like playing business with you.
Right.
Like tripping out, okay, just for a second. If I really think about it, like we're just two spirits in human suits be bopping around
Yes.
planet Earth.
Yep.
And we met and we were like, "Hey, you want to play business?
Right. Like I
Hey, you
think
want to
this
play
could be fun.
do you want to play podcast?" And we were like, "Oh my God, this sounds so fun. Let's do it." Okay. Like we're just adult versions of our childhood selves that played
Yes.
games exactly like this.
Uh-huh.
How cool is that?
Absolutely.
So if you're listening, I mean, I feel like this is basic advice and some people can't remember, but what did you play? Or, how did
Sure.
you play as a child?
Yeah.
Look for your playful friend and like go hang out with
Yes.
them,
Yes.
and you'll know who they are. Or
Yes.
at the very least, like just as an experiment, which we'll have a lot more experiments in the woods once you enter with us in a short little while.
Yep.
Um, as an experiment, I invite you to just kind of take one idea from this episode that maybe we've shared personally or talked about, and I want you to practice playing that way. So I don't
Yep.
know if it's playing with your kids or if it is an art project or coloring or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is, like go be there,
Yep.
go be in the play, like get in that vehicle to joy.
Yep.
And I want you to pay attention to like how your body feels when you're there.
Yep.
Pay attention to maybe what thoughts or narratives or stories come up while you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And just, that's all you have to do. Just pay attention to them.
Yep.
And then as soon as you feel like icky or like you're ready to leave, I know that, MGs, you need to bounce around all the things, but just humor me while you're there. As soon as you feel like you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Sure.
Like just stay an extra 10 minutes or an extra 30 minutes and just be there a little bit longer so that you can normalize that release or that letting go feeling in
Yep.
your body and mind.
Yes. 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 Also, like, go see some live music. I feel like that's like so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
Oh,
so
for sure.
playful.
Or that. You're
Yeah,
like,
just
or
go.
just go see live music.
Just go. And that's where I'm like, oh man, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to inject more of.
I mean, I do love me some live music.
It's just
Even though, Jess,
that
you say you don't
energy.
listen to music.
I do not
You've
listen
said
to a
that
ton of
before.
music, but I
So
love me
who would
some
you
live
go
music.
see? Who would you go
Anyone.
see?
Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone outside of like heavy metal. I don't
Literally
need like
anyone. I
mosh
would
pit
just.
happening because I will die. Like, no.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
You crack me up.
I know.
Literally, I'll just see anyone. You just see a guy playing
Just
guitar on the street. You sit
yeah,
down, give him money. You're like, I love this.
create the concert.
How can I buy your album?
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Oh my
true. It's
gosh.
so true. But
Okay, or
yes,
do that.
just go have some fun. Go have some fun. And one thing I do want to add, if you're thinking like back to childhood and you're like, there wasn't a ton of play, like that
Mhm.
wasn't the environment,
Good point.
you can still connect to that inner child and sink into like, how did you want to play? What
Mhm.
did you wish you were doing, or what did you
Or
see
what does
kids
that inner
doing?
child want right now? How does it want to play
Yes.
right now? Because that inner child exists within you, and
Yep.
she, he, they is probably feeling like, holy shit, I just want to play. I just want to be a
Yes.
kid. And so
Mhm.
trust, yes, whatever comes up from them who
Absolutely.
exists within you right now.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my God, I can't wait for the woods to be alive and well and inviting everybody in because we have
Yeah.
so many resources.
Yes.
Like for
Yes.
this.
Very much. Very
Mm,
much. Yes.
yeah,
If you
I'm
are
glad you brought
digging
that
this
up.
vibe, we will absolutely have resources for you to be able to tap in for what feels good for you.
And
Yeah.
correct for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't be boring today. Go play.
Go
Figure
play.
out and experiment what that means for you and let us know. You
Yep.
can leave a rating on Spotify. You can
Mhm.
leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. We love reading them and
Yes.
it helps us get the podcast out there. So please, 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 please do that if it feels right and if you feel connected to us. And also follow us on While You Wait podcast on Instagram, as well as come get the behind the scenes
Yes,
of the
please.
woods on @thewoodswithin
Yep.
on Instagram.
Yep. It's real fun.
Yeah,
It is
it's
real
very
fun
fun.
over there.
It was very fun. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see you guys and see you
Yes.
in there and hear how this episode landed.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.